Hi, this is Jørgen from Shining. You're watching Loud TV. The new record is different, but we're still the same band. We still play, mostly the older songs. We play maybe 4 or 5 new songs every night. The rest is older songs. So it's, we're still the same, but just an update, and it's happened a lot of times before. But this is I'd say this is a big update, just like we did with Black Jazz. It's something that's worth talking about, and I'd rather have something that is something than nothing. You see what I'm saying? When we did the pictures, I would rather have pictures with a fucking motorcycle that people, could talk about and say, what a fucking stupid idea with a motorcycle, instead of just having a picture, that nobody remembers. I don't think the motorcycle is stupid, but I know that it's a way of, people remember it. The same with the music. I'd rather have a record that is remembered for something, even if you don't like it, than to have a record that is not remembered for anything. So this is one of those, statement things. And the hair is not really for that reason, but it's because I made a music video in Iceland a month ago or something, and I wanted, that to look weird, so I did this, and I did it again for this tour because I ended up actually liking it. But so that's it's a way of just making it interesting instead of repeating ourselves. It's kind of weird because we've always been known for making changes. If we weren't the band that, if we were afraid of making changes, we would have never made Black Jazz, which is the name and the music that we're mostly known for at the moment. And that was also a big change, and everybody hated it when it came out. Not everybody, but a lot of people, both from the jazz world and the metal world and all the kind of smart-ass pitchfork world that loved the intellectual, nerdy stuff that we did before. So, I've seen it all before, basically, and I've seen it again on the albums after Black Jazz, where people said that, on the next album that we released called 111 in 2013, people were saying that, that was too commercial and it would lose, our integrity or something. And if you read one of those reviews, it could have been about Animal. And now 111 is, looked upon as one of the, great albums. So at the end of the day, I just got to do what I want to do. And usually fans are a bit slow. It takes 5 years, and then suddenly they come around. Some people take a week. I have my inbox full of people who said that, sorry, I posted some kind of shit on some post somewhere a week ago, and now I regret because I love the album, stuff like that. And I was just like, it's a bit too early to speak your mind after 1 week, and it's an album we've been working on for 2.5 years, So, but we'll see what happens. I'm super happy with the record. And I know, like I said, we're the same band, and it's just an update. I think the shows are better. They're more diverse. Usually, the older shows, I felt, if we did 35 minutes of this, like a support show, it was perfect because we just did 35 minutes, hit you across the face music. When we did, an hour or longer headline shows, I felt that we repeated ourselves. It was one kind of song again and again and again, same tempo, same energy. now we get to get this kind of variation, like a theater play, you know. It was, you know, it's like I said, we took 2.5 years making this record, and I didn't decide that we were not going to use the saxophone, but I decided pretty early that I just wanted to do, you know, I wanted to write the exact type of music that I wanted, no matter what it was going to be called. You know, no matter what it was going to be called. If it was going to be called black jazz or not, didn't matter to me. And I felt that if a song, you know, was going to be better with a saxophone part in it, then I would put the saxophone part in it. If it didn't, you know, strike me as necessary to have a sax part in it, I wasn't going to do that. And I was going to force myself to, you know, come up with other ideas to fill that void, because it started getting a bit, you know, what's it called? Predictable. You know, on the last record we had, you know, a couple of songs that had like a medium tempo rock kind of song, and then you had the crazy black jazz part in the middle with the sax, and then back to the rock song. So that's how that decision was made, basically just writing music and then figuring out one song at a time that it didn't really need the saxophone. And at the end of the period, you know, when there were two songs left or something like that, I said that, okay, now we have 80% of the record done, there's no sax, why not just make it a statement? No sax at all. Like I said, it's better that it's something than it's nothing, and it's cooler that it's a song without the saxophone than if I had like a little bit of saxophone. Yeah. Yes, I actually listened to that song when I decided to ask her. The other one, I felt that, you know, we'd thought about a lot of different singers, everything from, you know, Pink to it's more like a pop singer, to Lizzie, more classic rock, to you know, Kesha, these big American artists. And I also looked at a lot of Norwegian artists, and at the end of the day I felt that I wanted to have a singer that could come to my studio and that could, you know, make sure that she was singing the way basically I was singing the melody. So we had a little list of Norwegian singers, and then I checked out Linnea. I know her husband more than I know her, and when I heard her voice, I was thinking about that opening song, and I don't know if it's the opening song, but it's, you know, the theme song, and so I looked that up on YouTube, and I, you know, felt that kind of 80s ethereal female voice would be great for that song. Not the kind of super technical belting singer, not Celine Dion or, you know, that kind of stuff, but more the Kavinsky stuff.
Emotional.
So, yeah, and emotional and a bit fragile, you know. So it's funny that you think about that song, because I haven't told anyone, but that's one of the references I had.
I have a point. And what about the lyrics? About a lot of death?
A lot of death.
Why?
Well, It was interesting because on the surface the record doesn't really look like a very serious record, but it is the most serious, like lyrically it's the most serious and most dark record that I've ever written. And you know, it's I'm 38 years old now, and 3 years ago my first son, my only son, was born. So that's obviously a new perspective on life. Right after that, I was called up in the middle of the night by my mom. She said that my father had got something called aorta dissection, where the main artery above the heart just burst. So I was sure he was going to die that night. And most people die before they come to the hospital. They managed to get him to the hospital, open him up, and then, you know, put in a synthetic tube above the heart, patched him together, and he was still bleeding, so they opened him up again and did whatever they did, patched him together again, and it's like full, opening up the whole thing. And they would, and they put him on, he was like on this drain, half dead, half alive, and for a couple of weeks it didn't get better, and then they did another surgery. I'm not sure how long they kept doing it, but at least 3 months, sending him back and forth between hospitals, and then suddenly having to turn around because he's almost dying again. Helicopters, ambulances, whatever. And then, so that was a new thing for me to think about. Death, and how does it feel to die? What's the consequence for people around you? What if I die? What would my son think? And the kind of hopelessness that you feel when there's nothing you can do, and also obviously the responsibility that you suddenly get. That I suddenly got. I got a son, and then suddenly I had to be responsible for my father too. I had suddenly both sides to care of, while going from only caring about myself to suddenly be responsible for not everybody, but So that was something that was new to me, and that I wanted to kind of work through with writing the music and writing the lyrics, and I got through it, and I at the end of that, at the end of writing the album, I felt that I had a bit enough of the kind of dark, desperate, sad stuff. So I wanted to write some songs that were more about enjoying life and having a good time, and not really focus that much on the bad stuff. And also the artwork and the whole the press pictures and the how we present the album is more focused on the enjoy your life thing. While I think if you listen to the album, you'll discover the contrasting side, the dark side of the album later, and I think that makes the album more interesting, at least for me. That you have both of these things kind of colliding. On the surface, it's an 80s rock album, but it's not really that.